Ms. Serrano?
Good morning, Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Grassley, and members of the committee. Nelson Mandela once said, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children." The people who sexually exploit and abuse children must be held accountable, not only to society, but to their victims. Incarceration and sex offender registration are ways to hold these criminals accountable and responsible for their despicable acts. Child pornography, or child sexual abuse material, or CSAM, is a horrific crime that plagues victims long after the initial sexual abuse. My name is Alessandra Parisi Serrano. I work for Operation Underground Railroad, a nonprofit organization that partners with governments here and around the world to help victims of human trafficking and child exploitation get the necessary aftercare and support they so desperately need. Operation Underground Railroad also helps train foreign law enforcement and other entities who may have contact with potential victims on how to identify, investigate, and prosecute traffickers and exploiters of children. I recently joined this organization in December of 2021. For the preceding 18 plus years, I served as a federal prosecutor for the U.S. Department of Justice. During my DOJ career, I personally handled hundreds of child exploitation and human trafficking cases involving thousands of victims. I saw firsthand not only what these victims endured from the initial abuse, but also the continued abuse and exploitation for years to come, oftentimes for the remainder of their lives. The Supreme Court in the Paroline case recognized this fact when it allowed victims depicted in CSAM material to obtain mandatory restitution from voyeurs, distributors, and transporters of CSAM long after the initial sexual abuse has occurred. While the initial sexual abuse causes great harm from which victims may never overcome, CSAM re-traumatizes victims for years after their abuse. Every time a person views CSAM, that child is re-exploited, re-traumatized, and re-abused. When an offender is caught viewing, downloading, or distributing these horrific images, mandatory notice goes to these victims that yet another offender viewed CSAM. Upon receiving these notices, victims are forced to relive the crime. Persons who download, view, and distribute CSAM cause an increase in the production of CSAM images. No one wants to see reruns of TV or movies. We've all experienced this during COVID when the release of new movies and TV shows stopped. And that includes voyeurs and distributors of CSAM. With this appetite for new material comes the increased demand for the abuse of younger kids in more violent, sadistic, and masochistic images, according to recent statistics. I personally prosecuted cases with images of abuse and exploitation of children as young as premature infants. This trend by certain judges to routinely decrease sentences far below the advisory sentencing guidelines and prosecutors' recommendations for CSAM consumers minimizes the gravity of the offense. While the amount of material being produced and number of people consuming this material has increased exponentially over recent years, the sentences have decreased. This makes no sense. I live in Southern California, where destructive wildfires are a yearly issue. The fires leave hundreds of victims in its wake. When the fires spread and get bigger, do we put fewer firefighters on the front line? Use less water or resources? Fewer containment measures? No, of course not. That scenario is akin to routinely reducing sentences for CSAM consumers when the supply is undisputedly increasing. I say again, it makes no sense. I hope all of the members of this committee agree that there is no cause more noble than protecting our children. Whether some crimes warrant longer prison sentences is a debate left for another day. However, purveyors of CSAM, especially those with prior conduct involving sexual abuse or exploitation, deserve to be taken out of society for a substantial period of time and to be identified by the public through sex offender registries. It has been my experience that offenders are only remorseful because they get caught and not because of what their deviant and destructive conduct has done to countless victims, many of whom are unidentified. Lastly, the notion that CSAM crimes only involves pictures is appalling to most prosecutors and victim advocates. CSAM depicts real children who deserve justice. These victims or survivors deserve our respect and dignity for what they endured. They do not deserve to be treated with less consideration than offenders who take sexual pleasure in viewing CSAM of what is the darkest days of their lives. Our society is better than that. At least I hope it is. Our most precious resource, our children, deserve it. On behalf of victims of CSAM and other sexual exploitation, I thank you for the committee's time and attention to this important matter. Thank you.